By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to handle the unique hurt that comes with being a bonus mom. You will understand why it stings so deeply, and more importantly, how you can begin to heal from that pain without letting bitterness take root in your heart. We're going to walk through this together, exploring the unspoken truths and finding a path towards strength and grace. This isn't about quick fixes or pretending the hurt doesn't exist. It's about acknowledging the reality of your experience and equipping you with the tools to navigate it with confidence and peace, preserving your own well-being along the way. Have you ever walked into a room and felt the temperature drop? I remember one specific family gathering, a summer barbecue not long after my husband and I were married. The air was thick with the smell of grilled hot dogs, freshly cut grass. Children were laughing and chasing each other with water balloons. Everything on the surface looked like a picture-perfect family moment. But as I walked over to the patio table to offer some help with the salads, I felt it. A sudden, piercing silence fell over the small group of relatives gathered there. The conversation didn't just pause, it completely evaporated into the humid air. The smiles on their faces tightened as they turned to look at me. They were polite enough, of course, tight-lipped nods, a muttered hello here and there. But the warmth that had been present just seconds before was gone, replaced by a wall of polite, impenetrable distance. I saw the sideways glances exchanged between my husband's aunt and his cousin. The way their eyes held a conversation I wasn't privy to. In that moment, I wasn't a person. I was a disruption. I was a symbol of a story that had changed. My presence was an unwelcome reminder of that shift for them. It was a feeling I would come to know intimately, though it never got any easier. The ache of being on the outside, looking in on a circle that seems to close ranks the moment you approach. The pain of being judged by people who have never shared a real meal with you in the truest sense, never asked for your side of the story, never sought to understand your heart or your intentions. They have decided who you are, assigned you a role in a drama they've already written in their minds. And that role, so often, is simply the stepmom, a label that comes with a heavy, invisible baggage cart filled with preconceived notions. If you're a bonus mom, you might know exactly what I'm talking about. You've likely felt that same chill in the air. You've seen that same guarded look in someone's eyes, or heard your own echo in a room that suddenly went quiet. It's a uniquely isolating experience, one that can make you question yourself, question your choices, question your place in your own family. You pour your heart, you pour your energy, you pour your love into building a home, into caring for children who are not your own by birth, but are yours by heart, into supporting the partner you love. Yet, you find yourself defined not by your actions, but by your title. The truth is, one of the hardest parts isn't the day-to-day parenting. It isn't the extra laundry, the complex school schedules, or navigating tricky conversations with the kids. Those are the tangible challenges we often expect and prepare ourselves for. No, the heaviest burden is carrying the weight of assumptions, made by people who don't even really know you. It's the silent judgment from the sidelines, from extended family, from friends, even from complete and utter strangers who feel entitled to an opinion on your life. This feeling is profoundly painful because it strikes at the core of our human need to be seen and understood for who we truly are. We all want to be judged on the content of our character, not on a label or a stereotype. When you are prejudged, your individuality is erased. Your kindness, your patience, your efforts, your sacrifices. They all become invisible, overshadowed by a role society has painted with a broad, often unflattering brush. This isn't just about hurt feelings, it's a form of profound invalidation. That can make you feel unseen in your own life, and unseen in your own home. Today, I want to pull back the curtain on this experience. I want to talk openly and honestly about why being misunderstood as a bonus mom hurts so deeply. We need to name the sources of this pain, from societal narratives to personal family dynamics, to truly understand its impact on our hearts and minds. And from that place of understanding, we will explore how we can begin to heal. This isn't about changing other people's minds or winning their approval. It's about learning how to protect our own peace and how to move forward with grace without allowing bitterness to take root and steal our joy. Table of Contents, Part 2, Act 1, Walking into a Story, about 5 sections. Section 1, The Inherited Narrative. Section 2, The Ghost of the Past. Section 3, First Encounters with the Script. Section 4, The Shadow of the Evil Stepmother. Section 5, Hope in the Face of History. Every family has a story, a collection of shared memories, inside jokes, established traditions that form the bedrock of their identity. When you become a bonus mom, you don't just join a family. You walk into the middle of a story that began long before you arrived. It's a narrative with chapters you haven't read and characters who have deep, complex histories with one another. You are the new character, introduced mid-plot, and your arrival inevitably changes the storyline. This isn't inherently a bad thing, but it means you are entering a world that already has its own rhythm, its own rules, and an emotional landscape you have to learn to navigate. The challenge is that you are often perceived not as a new beginning, but as an interruption to the old story. Extended family members, longtime friends, even neighbors may have their loyalties firmly planted with the past. They remember a different version of this family unit, one that didn't include you. Their sympathy and understanding might instinctively lie with the biological mother, the protagonist of the story they've known for years. Without asking a single question or seeking to understand the new dynamics, they may have already cast you in a specific role within their minds. This creates an invisible but powerful barrier. You might find yourself at family dinners where conversations are filled with references to the good old days, moments, and memories from a time before you. While these conversations aren't necessarily meant to exclude you, they have the effect of highlighting your status as an outsider. You are a footnote in a history book that everyone else has memorized. Suddenly, you can be viewed through a lens of suspicion, seen as the other woman, the replacement, the reason everything changed. This judgment isn't based on anything you've actually done or said. It's based entirely on the position you now hold. This sense of being an outsider is one of the first and most disorienting hurdles a bonus mom faces. You are trying to build a future while constantly being measured against a past you were never part of. You bring your love, your hope, your genuine desire to create a happy, stable home. But you are met with a narrative that was written without you. It feels like you're being asked to audition for a part in a play where the other actors have already decided you're not right for the role. It's a lonely and frustrating position to be in. The first few gatherings feel like walking on eggshells over a floor of memories. I vividly recall one of our first Thanksgiving dinners together as a blended family. I spent days planning, wanting everything to be perfect. I wanted to create a warm, welcoming atmosphere. I chose recipes I hoped would become new family favorites, carefully setting the table. One place setting slightly different from the rest, filling the house with the comforting smells of roasted turkey and cinnamon. I was filled with a nervous hope, a deep desire to build a bridge between the past and the present. As guests arrived, the house filled with polite greetings and careful smiles. But beneath the surface-level pleasantries, there was a palpable tension. My husband's sister, while perfectly civil, kept talking about the way his ex-wife used to make the stuffing. Not with malice, but with a wistful nostalgia that hung in the air like a ghost. Each mention was a small, unintentional jab, a reminder that I was occupying a space that once belonged to someone else. I smiled and nodded, trying to be gracious. But inside, I felt myself shrinking. It was as if I was being compared to a phantom, a memory that was idealized and untouchable. Later that evening, while clearing plates, I overheard a whispered conversation between two cousins in the hallway. They were looking at a framed photo on the wall, one of my husband and his kids from a few years prior.
They were such a perfect family.
The other nodded in agreement, casting a quick, almost pitying glance in my direction, before they hushed. The words were not meant for me to hear, but they struck me with the force of a physical blow. Their perfect family didn't include me. In their eyes, my presence signified the end of that perfection, the beginning of something lesser, something broken. That night, after everyone had gone home and the house was quiet again, I sat in the living room, surrounded by the remnants of our perfect holiday. The joy and hope I had started the day with had been replaced by a profound sense of loneliness. I had poured so much of myself into the day, trying to show my love and commitment through my actions. Yet it seemed my efforts were invisible, overshadowed by the ghost of the family that was. It was my first real lesson in understanding that my role was not just about building something new, but also about coexisting with the powerful, lingering presence of the past. Beyond the personal histories of the family, there is a much larger, more pervasive story at play: the cultural narrative of the evil stepmother. Think about the stories we were all raised on, the fairy tales that shaped our earliest understanding of family roles. Cinderella's cruel tormentor, Snow White's vain and jealous queen. The stepmother is almost universally portrayed as a villain. She is cold, selfish, manipulative, a direct threat to the well-being of the innocent children. These stories are not just harmless fantasies, they seep into our collective consciousness, creating a powerful and enduring stereotype. This cultural baggage is heavy, and as a bonus mom, you are often forced to carry it whether you want to or not. People don't even realize they are doing it, but they subconsciously project this archetype onto you. Every action you take can be interpreted through this negative filter. If you set a new boundary or introduce a new house rule, you're not just being a responsible parent, you're being controlling and wicked. If you express a need or an opinion that differs from the family's old way of doing things, you're not advocating for yourself, you're being selfish and disruptive. It's an uphill battle against a deeply ingrained cultural bias. I saw this play out in subtle ways. I remember trying to encourage healthier eating habits in our home, suggesting we swap sugary cereals for oatmeal and have more vegetables with dinner. It was a change born out of love and a desire for everyone's well-being. But to an outside observer, a relative who heard about it secondhand, it was twisted into a narrative of deprivation. I was the cruel stepmother who was taking away the kids' treats. The story wasn't about health, it became about my supposed cruelty, fitting perfectly into the fairy tale mold that was already waiting for me. It was incredibly frustrating to have my good intentions so completely misunderstood and maligned. This stereotype creates a no-win situation. If you are highly involved and nurturing, you risk being seen as trying too hard or trying to replace their real mom. If you take a step back to give the kids space and respect their existing bonds, you can be labeled as cold, distant, or uninterested. You are walking a tightrope, and the script says you are destined to fall. This constant pressure to defy a negative expectation is exhausting. You begin your journey already on the defensive, having to prove your goodness against a powerful, centuries-old narrative that has already painted you as the villain of the story. Walking into a pre-existing story with all its history and its ghosts is undeniably one of the most challenging parts of this journey. The weight of the inherited narrative, the sideways glances, the shadow of the evil stepmother stereotype can feel overwhelming. It can make you want to retreat, to build a wall around your heart, to protect it from the constant judgment and misunderstanding. It's a natural reaction to want to armor up when you feel like you are under attack. But that's where the bitterness begins to take root, and we cannot allow that to happen. So, what do? We start by acknowledging the reality of the situation, without letting it define our reality. Yes, you have walked into a story that was already in progress. Yes, there are people who may never fully understand your role or your heart. Accepting this truth is not a sign of defeat. It is a profound act of self-preservation. It frees you from the impossible task of trying to control what other people think. You cannot rewrite the chapters that came before you, and you cannot force everyone to read the new chapters with an open mind. Your energy is better spent elsewhere. Instead of focusing on changing the minds of those on the outside, you can turn your focus inward, to the story you are writing now. You can pour your energy into the relationships that matter most, your relationship with your partner, your own personal journey with the children. You can be the author of your own character within the home. This means showing up with love, consistency, integrity every single day, not as a performance for others, but as an authentic expression of who you are. Your character is not built in the whispers of others, but in the daily acts of love and patience within your own four walls. Our hope, then, lies not in erasing the past, but in bravely and intentionally writing the future. It's about understanding that belonging is not something that is granted to you by a committee of relatives or friends. It is something you build, moment by moment, within your own heart and your new family unit. It's about planting seeds of new traditions, new memories, new jokes. It's about having the courage to keep your heart open, even when it feels vulnerable, and trusting that your love, over time, will speak a truer story than any stereotype ever could. This is not a quick or easy process, but it is a hopeful one. If you have ever felt invisible, misunderstood, judged because you are a bonus mom, I want you to hear this today. Let it settle deep into your spirit. Your worth is not determined by other people's assumptions. You do not need to spend your precious energy trying to convince everyone of your good heart. You do not need every person in your life to understand your story or approve of your role. Live with integrity, love with wisdom. Let your character, over time, speak louder than any stereotype. You are not alone on this journey. The path of a bonus mom is not for the faint of heart. It requires toughness, tenderness, fierce advocacy, gentle patience. Have a backbone of steel to hold your boundaries and a soft heart to love the children as your own. It's challenging but also deeply rewarding. Moments of connection, shared laughter, gradual building of trust. These are the precious jewels. Hold on to them. They are evidence of the beautiful family you are building. Healing is not a destination. It's a path you choose every day. Talk to your partner instead of shutting down. Find a moment of quiet for yourself amid the chaos. Release the bitterness and make room for grace. Be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Celebrate the small victories. You are doing a difficult and important job with love. That is a profound accomplishment. You are enough. What you are doing is enough. If this resonated, please subscribe so we can walk this path together and I can share new content. Your story and your voice matter. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Please consider sharing this with another bonus mom who might need this today. Comment, share, subscribe. You are part of a strong, compassionate, resilient community. You are not alone.